and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone had a chance to review the agenda.
Madam President, I move to approve and adopt the agenda.
It's been moved and seconded to approve and adopt the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda has been approved. Moving to item 4, presentation approval of the minutes for the regular board meeting, September 18th, 2024.
Madam President, I move that we approve the minutes.
It's been moved and seconded to approve. It's been moved and seconded to approve the meeting minutes for September 18th, 2024. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes have been approved. Public forum. The Board of Education welcomes public comments during the visitors portion of the school board meeting agenda. All comments must be related to a topic on the agenda for that particular meeting. The public comment section of the agenda will be the only time the board takes any questions or comments from the public unless we as a board choose to solicit more information from a person or a group attending the meeting on matters specific to the agenda. Are there any comments? That's not a comment. Just go to favor. Okay. Hearing no comments, we will move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Maestas.
Madam President, members of the board, good evening. I'd like to start off with a little bit of, I guess not good news, but on October 14th, Mrs. Valdez called me. I was in Albuquerque at a conference, and it appears we had somebody vandalize Elvis Elementary, knocked out 3 windows, and turned some stuff over on the playground and so forth. I know that Mr. Durbin came in on his day off to cover things up, clean things up, and then I don't know if Tim he was at the conference with me. So the last talk to him, he said he was gonna get back and try to get over there and see if he had the windows and replace them right away so they'd be ready for tomorrow. I'll check with him afterwards and see if he was able to do it, but if not, I'm pretty sure he'll get all that taken care of tomorrow. And we'll be looking at cameras to see if there's anything we can see. You know, it's we're not sure when it happened, if it happened, you know, could have happened Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or you found it on Monday, so. And so we'll deal with it as we go right now. We just gotta get them fixed, make sure everybody's safe, and we can proceed with the education we provide. So just want to let you guys know that. And then Mr. Doherty, Justin Doherty, he's also working on a new phone system. And so in calling him, I was talking to him about the issue at Alvis, and he informed me that he'd been working on the old phone system because he has to get that up and running well, so that he can kind of program the old phone system and the new phone system. And so he had the high school almost programmed, switches programmed and so forth, but he anticipates having the new phone system in place by the end of the week. So like I said, I just got back today, but I'll touch base with him tomorrow to see where he's at with that, and hopefully we'll have a new phone system, you know, by the end of the week. Scoreboard for Huff, Jim and I got a lot of time to talk over in Albuquerque, so he informed me that the scoreboard that has been donated is at the Armory. So him and Paul are gonna go probably tomorrow and check it out and see what it's gonna require to get it installed, and him and Paul will get it installed hopefully before basketball season starts. So that scoreboard is at the Armory in City Cleveland, and so he's moving forward with that. Update on the fire alarms. I've told you that we ran into a little bit of a glitch with the company that's supposed to install. They were supposed to run everything through the same conduits that were there, but just like like anything else, when Mr. Callis let them know that there was asbestos, they stopped and they wanted to get some sampling, and so the sampling's been done and so forth. We're just now waiting for them to come back here to start working again and get it done. So hopefully that gets done sooner than later. And it's the subcontractor that just didn't want to do anything until we did the sampling. And for the most part, everything that was sampled, didn't show large amount of asbestos, so it shouldn't be an issue. It's just going to play a little bit more, but we should get those done pretty quick. I did attend, on October, 21st, I believe it was, I did go all the way to Roswell to attend the 180-day calendar hearing. We heard from both sides, and they went round and round, and that's from, I think it was 2 to 4:30. At the end of all, the judge basically told both sides to submit their findings by October 21st, and then he would make a ruling. He would do that over a Zoom meeting so that we wouldn't have to travel back there.
What date did you say?
October 21st, so that's coming up pretty quick. And so unless one of the parties says they need more time, it sounded like he would go ahead and extend the time, but we haven't heard anything right now. We're to assume that it's gonna be October 21st. He did make it very clear that he was going to, his ruling was gonna be based on the law, not on what effects it's gonna have on schools, what effects it's gonna, it's just the law. And so, you know, if that's the case, I feel pretty good about it, because the statute clearly states that it's supposed to be hours, not days. So we're, waiting to see what happens there. And, once I find out, I'll let you guys know. That Wednesday, right after that, I traveled to Santa Fe along with about 30 other superintendents. We met with the new secretary, and it went really well. Marty Madrid from Santa Rosa, he's our president for the Superintendents Association now, and he's done really well to establish communication with Superintendent Padilla. And so we had a pretty good discussion. Like I said, about an hour and a half of the 2 hours was revolving the safety with all the threats that were going on with us, Raton, Cimarron, and then there's some in Delhart, Guyman, I think even Texline. And so it was a big concern for the superintendents. And just today, I got another email from somebody from the LFC wanting to know what, you know, departments we have that would respond if we was to be in a situation. So I gotta send that back to them. So there's a big push to try to see what they can do for when people are, you know, making threats. And then the last 30 minutes was used up with our new director of special ed. And that one was kind of, the only thing I got out of it, because she was kind of confusing. She's basically saying that what was it that we had to do, Chelsea? The
Site monitoring.
the site monitoring, and then desktop monitoring. And most of the schools that did a desktop, and we haven't gotten ours yet for the South, were not in compliance. And she basically said that all our IEPs have to be compliant.
And but the desktop monitoring?
Desktop monitoring is when they come in and they monitor it, or they monitor it from out there. Self-monitoring is like Chelsea.
I had to go and submit all the documents for so many students to make sure everything's in compliance and follows all the indicators. I'm 100% certain that we were compliant.
But she made it a point to say that all it takes is one little thing and we're non-compliant. And then at the end of it all, she said that the reason that they're making everybody do so much is because supposedly the feds are gonna come in and audit New Mexico. So, we'll see. But she's not, I won't say that, no. I'll keep to myself. Tim Callis and I, we've been in Albuquerque for the facility managers workshop, and we learned a lot. We got some presentations from PSFA, from asbestos maintenance plan, but the ones that really stood out for us were the two that we attended for the roofing maintenance. And the guy was really good. He was explaining to us on when you're going and doing your walkthroughs, looking at your roofs, what to look for. And when somebody does, when they're replacing the roof or whatever, They also showed us how companies like to take shortcuts, and then it turns out that when things are damaged and so forth, then they're not covered because they didn't do the job correctly. And so it was eye-opening, I tell you. And then they were talking about the deal where, oh, we'll just put caulking in there. And it says caulking doesn't expand but maybe half an inch, so it's not like a foam that, and so he was like, it was eye-opening. He gave us a pamphlet that Tim has, and he learned something out of it. He's like, no, we gotta make sure we watch this a little bit closer. He says, not just depend on what they're telling us because they like to take shortcuts. And then the one that really was great was they actually had the fire marshal there, and he did a presentation, and he was really good, laid everything out. And so I was talking to Tim, I told him what the district should do for next year for in-service. They should see if they can get a representative, if not the fire marshal, to come out here and talk to our teachers, because one of the biggest things he was saying is all the decorations, and they have to be 2 feet from the ceiling, and all the lights, Christmas lights, whatever. And a lot of times when we let them know that they're not allowed, they tend to think it's a school thing, that we're the ones saying it, but in reality, it's a fire marshal that says you shouldn't be doing it. So, Tim and I, we got his contact information, and I wanna see if we can get him set up for in-service at the beginning of the year, to start off the year, so they can come in and talk to the staff about all the extra stuff, like extra refrigerators, microwaves, and everything else that trips the circuit and so forth. It's an issue, you know what I'm saying? So, those were the ones that really stood out for us, that were really good. But like I said, being there and doing things, I think my board report's a little bit short this week, but those are the main things that I felt like needed to be reported. Of course, if anything I forget or whatever, you'll get it on Monday when I do my weekly report for you. But that's it for me. Is there any questions? If not, the superstars over here.
That's right. All right, good evening, Madam President, members of the board. For Albus Elementary, our current enrollment is 151 students. Just a little recap. October 4th, we had Jeanette Walker. She's an instructional coach through CES, and I had her come out. And so she went around and conducted some classroom visits and did just some helpful feedback for our new teachers who are new to the district. And so she was really helpful in that, and the new teachers appreciated that. And then she also conducted a professional development session that afternoon on how to conduct effective and meaningful PLCs, professional learning communities. And so my staff, the feedback was really helpful, and so my staff's gonna be taking on that PLC. PLCs from now on that. Last night, October the 16th, Albus had our first 9 weeks PAC family night, and it was a huge success. We had, I actually had the official number this morning was 117 people attended last night.
Wow.
So, yes, we had lots of families come out. We had a little photo op thing so parents could take photos. They had a little snack. The PBIS team, we talked about our positive behavioral intervention supports. What does PBIS mean? We have an app, how we use rewards to reward safe behavior, respectful behavior, responsible behavior. And so we gave parents that information, as well as they had a little activity where they could all like paint a pumpkin. And so it was really good. It was really good. So we got a lot of good feedback on that. October the 22nd, 3rd and 4th grade will be traveling to Raton to attend Ag Explorer Day. So this is something new that we haven't participated in before, so they're looking forward to doing that. They get to spend the day in Raton. October 25th, parent-teacher conferences will be happening. October 31st, Halloween parties and all that fun stuff that happens on Halloween. And then November 1st will be our first 9 weeks awards honor roll ceremony at 12:30 at Albus. So just some upcoming events there. Daycare certification update. We had a complimentary site visit. Dion came, his name was Dion, he came from Santa Fe. And there's a few things that we have to do in order to get officially certified. So first, we have to have the fire marshal come out, inspect the building, but also there has to be a certain number of square footage per child. And so he has to be the one to say if we have the right amount of square footage. Also, since we're having kids like pretty much 6 weeks to 4 years, we have to have 2 separate spaces, either 2 separate rooms or a physical boundary. And so myself and then the daycare teachers were trying to figure out a solution on that and on what will work best. We think we have a plan, but it also depends on if the fire marshal says that that's okay or not. So we're kind of depending on that, and fire marshal will be coming out the week of November 18th. And so when he's here coming and inspecting all of the buildings, I'm just gonna ask him if he can help us out then so we can figure out what we need to do there. We also have to provide a shaded outdoor space for our daycare kiddos. So right now, we utilize the pre-K playground, there's no shaded outdoor space. And so, we're trying to figure out what can we purchase or what can we do or what in order to make that happen as well. And then, right now, we have pack and plays, like where our kiddos are napping, those are not compliant with regulations, so we would have to purchase cribs. And so there's
Which a lot of that will pay off. It will be paid back if we are certified because of the money that.
that we can start
Right.
generating from that. Yes, it's just a matter of finding those funds and how much
For
is it
now,
gonna be
right.
for now. My biggest thing is having that fire marshal come and let us know facility wise, if what we can do as far as square footage and, that space. So, and it's a waiting game, but hopefully in November when he comes out, we can get some more information onto how can we make that space work to get certified.
Well, maybe that one lady that was helping you, maybe she
Barbara.
would have some advice on how to get some of that equipment.
She did say, cause she did the walkthrough via Zoom, I had her on my phone, and she did say there are some ideas, like some other places, they just got like a carport and outside for a shaded, and Tim thinks we have some stuff that we can make that work. And so it's just kind of working to figure out.
Sounds like a welding project. Right, Mr. Jordan?
No, it's
Just say yes.
something that I wanna try to do is, because carpentry's on the skills, they'll be tested at state this year. And I don't have plans for it right now, maybe like a 3-sided barn. I don't know how big you need,
It just needs to be like a shaded,
so like an 8x8 by 10, 3-sided barn. We've never done something like that before, but we can try. And we can see what it looks like.
Get to work, Dave, that was the money.
Yes, they were
I know whether they're up there or
Exactly.
It's the work, that's what he said.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your timeline on this?
Well, the sooner the better.
We work slowly.
That's,
So, no, that's
Hey,
something
I
to
think
consider
just
about
an
this. I'm not,
idea.
so,
Well, even afraid,
let me chew on that.
thinking like those like
Give,
shade
Right.
Are
The-
you-
things,
the-
yeah.
Right.
Those what are those things, those shade things?
They are like a canvas,
It wasn't done
Oh, sorry.
probably the most cost effective would be that canvas that you're talking about. I was gonna say with the idea of a 3-sided barn, let me chew on that for about a week. I mean, and of course, whatever most cost effective, whatever works best for the district. Let me chew on that for about a week and then I'll coordinate with
Well-
Ms. Valdez and Mr. Meister.
and whatever the fire marshal says.
But with that, we'd have to have someone inspected to make sure it's safe for the kids, because they were talking about that in my meeting, saying that, they did the same thing for their pre-K or daycare, one of them, but they said that, they had to build a shade, something like that too, and they couldn't do it themselves, they'd have someone that's, licensed and not do it.
Tim is licensed, correct?
No, well, yeah, but no, not for that. AK sells the shading, like umbrella thingies. Let me call Cody tomorrow and get a price on it, see what it would be. But they come in and install like the pole and everything, and then it's like a big umbrella, a
Yeah.
super-sized umbrella, and that, maybe 2 of those would work, or 1, well,
Well,
let me call Cody.
and just make sure, like, whatever material it is, that the fire marshal says, yes, you can have this material. I mean, it is outside, but still.
And
Does
that it
that-
survives our winds.
That's what I was gonna say.
Maybe
Leather
retractable.
Yeah.
Because these are the ones they put up in different schools, I know they put some in Taos and different areas, so it should be okay with the fire marshal, but we'll see.
That seems like a much easier fix than I was anticipating, though.
Absolutely,
And I'm so
yes.
sorry about your school. So sorry.
Thank you. It was a little frustrating, but thank goodness for Paul, so Paul was
Yes.
really helpful, so. Anyway, that's it for me. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the board. Kaiser Elementary enrollment is 63, junior high is 61, for a total of 124. Junior high football game is going to be here on Friday at 4 o'clock, followed by varsity. On the 22nd, my fifth graders will be, our fifth graders will be going to the Attic Explorers with, in Raton the same day as hers. Parent-teacher conference is on the 25th. Last junior high football game will be at Cuesta on the 25th. Tickets for the Thanksgiving dinner, we're doing the big Thanksgiving dinner again, and tickets have to be bought by the 31st. And I just put another flyer out on Facebook today to remind parents, we haven't had tons coming in, and the 31st is quickly approaching. We will have, I don't know if my elementary will do parties or not, but Halloween day, yay. Said no teacher ever. The day after is worse. It's not the day that's bad, it's the next day when they're on the sugar high. We will also be having an award ceremony on that first, but ours will be at 9:30 and we'll just do it together, junior high and Kaiser. P&M is coming to talk to the fifth graders on November the 4th at 9 a.m. Junior high basketball starts on November 4th. We had discussed earlier today about having that fall sports meeting on November 4th. We still haven't set a date or a location. I was just in talks since basketball is starting. And she had mentioned Jeanette Walker. I actually have an appointment with her, or a meeting with her next Wednesday. So maybe she can do some stuff at Kaiser Junior High as well, so I'm excited about that. So, and I did have 4 girls. I had already had 2 that got moved up. One was already on varsity and then one on JV. And I had 4 more girls moved up to JV volleyball when their season ended. So now we have a total of 6 playing up, so there's that.
That's great.
Yes. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam President, members of the board, our enrollment remains at 121. We had our eye-ready testing since the last time we had met, and I noticed some differences in our scoring. Of course, high school, we probably realized that many of them didn't even try. But it looked like our freshmen tried more based on what we went through, so I threw them a party. I bought them ice cream and sodas and I made floats. I sat outside with them and made them floats while they played some games for a period. So I wanted to reward their attempt at working hard. And that's one of the things I'm trying to do with the culture here, is to let them know that good hard work is gonna bring in good rewards. We didn't miss any core classes, of course. It was during the time when it was all electives. New Mexico Dash, I guess we're gonna talk about that here in a little bit, but we have our first 30-day check-in coming up. And we have the end of our 9 weeks coming up this week. So we'll be sending out the grades on that really soon. What I do with the grades, and I think you already know, is I send it out to the teachers, a sheet asking them to give me any students that have below a 75. And I meet with that student and I find out what I need to do to make sure they're successful in that class, whether if they need extra tutoring, if I set that up, If we need to, we have to call home. I had to call home today to a parent and say, hey, this student's really struggling in these classes, and we're gonna work out a plan to make him more successful. So that's kind of the way I approach the grades. I'm gonna skip ahead for a little bit and go to some other things. Our attendance on day 40, our goal was to have 100%, so I didn't. Some of the people at the school got some donations for us for some prizes, and we gave out 5 prizes throughout the day through drawings of all the students that were in attendance. And so we had 96% attendance. Those that were out, we call every day when they're absent. We say, what's going on, why are you not here? I can tell you right now, one student that was notoriously absent hasn't missed since we called home. And he's a really good kid, but I guess he was just trying to slip through the cracks. So we had 96%. Those that were out were really sick. So we gave away 5 prizes through the day, and as we go on through the year, I want to increase the value of the prizes until we can get some really good ones. We continue to be under the fire watch as our teachers are monitoring that each period as we go along. Last thing about the school is community school. Can you show the video? Do you have it ready? I have like a 2-minute video on community school. This is something that we, Mr. Maestas has set up for me, and we're going to introduce. So this is real quick, and I'll let you see that, and I'll talk about it for a second.
Except I just muted my TV, so give me a second. I'm turn that back up. It's very slow.
I'll go ahead and I'll continue to put some play here.
Grade school, grade school, grade school.
Kim, will you mute? Oh, something.
What makes a school a great school? Caring for the whole child, expanding the horizons of learning, building relationships with families, working together to realize a shared vision. This is the school every student needs. This is a community school. Community schools are public schools that partner with stakeholders to create the conditions students need to thrive. Community schools can be found across the United States, and their numbers are growing fast. But what exactly makes a school a community school? They integrate student supports. Clinics, counselors, and other services ensure each and every student is ready to learn. They expand and enrich learning. Extended school days, summer programs, and real-world experiences help students reach their full potential. They engage families and communities. Partnering with residents to identify and meet community needs makes everyone feel safe, welcome, and involved in school. They lead in collaboration. Inclusive decision-making and peer learning builds trust among students, educators, families, and communities. When a school stands on these 4 pillars, it's a community school. Research supports this 4-pillar approach, but there's no one-size-fits-all model. Every community school is different because each community is different. Figuring out what it looks like in your community starts by getting actual community members involved. That's the full-time job of community school coordinators. They're the human bridge connecting all the partners and stakeholders that make community schools possible. So that's what makes a school a community school. Now, how do you pay for it? Startup costs like hiring a full-time coordinator can be raised from foundations or state and local governments. Tapping into existing funding and partnering with local businesses can bring in service providers. Sharing resources and staff with partners can help everyone do more. And as a community school becomes more established, leaders can advocate for budgets that sustain their impact and new funding to expand it. Every community school is different. What will yours be like? Get started at communityschools.futureforlearning.org.
Okay, so you can also just appoint a community school coordinator like Mr. Mastis did. Thank you, sir. No, I really enjoy it, actually. The whole point is that this is something I was trying to do in Dulce as well, because there are small communities that really do need it, and the research does show how when a community is involved, how much better they perform. So the first thing I'm doing is this weekend is I'm building a committee, which will consist of 2 parents, hopefully 2 community members that don't even have kids at the school, maybe business owners, and then 2 staff members and myself. So we're gonna build that committee, and one of the ways I'm doing it is this Saturday, I'm going to meet, I'm having my coffee with the community. I'm just gonna go have coffee at Mox, and just visit with people, and we're gonna try to get some people to volunteer to join the committee. I'm also gonna talk about a couple of topics. I'm gonna do that once a month, where I talk about topics that face the schools, and the first topic I'm gonna discuss is cell phones and the problems we're having with those, and the way that we want to address it. And then the second topic will be safety. I wanna make sure everybody feels safe. I wanna address their concerns on safety. So that's what we'll be doing this Saturday, or I'll be doing. I'll just go visit and take answers and just casually just talk to the community about that. Okay, athletics. Our football team dropped a little bit. We had a tough loss Friday night. But I'm gonna tell you what, I'm super proud of those guys. I had to be on the sidelines because we had a couple of injuries, and they never looked like they were losing in the whole entire game. They had the best attitudes I've ever seen. And I was pretty upset about the other team and some of the things that happened, which I can discuss at another time instead of openly. But the way that our boys handled it, I was really proud of the way that they handled everything. And, you know, I'm sorry, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. They were really good, it's okay. But we are 2-1 in the district. We play home versus Escalante this Friday night, senior night. We're also gonna pink out. And then the playoffs, first round's November 1st. So I just really hope that we get to face that team again in the playoffs, because they have to come here. Volleyball plays at home Thursday night versus Pecos. That's our Dig Pink night. And then the last home game is versus Raton, November 9th. That's our senior night. She mentioned our JV now that we've pulled some up. So they're only gonna play home because they have as many games that'll fill them up. So they're gonna play the home games and not travel. Cheer senior night will be done during basketball season, not during football, in case people ask questions about that. We've also introduced season tickets, season passes for people that really don't like to use the online service. They can come into the school, and I've sent it out. I'll send out reminders. They can come in, pay cash, or however they want to pay with us, and we'll give them a season pass to get them in through. That's for basketball and the remainder of the volleyball season. And then basketball practice begins November 18th for the high school. As far as our activities, I'm just gonna say that the theater still plans to go to State Festival, November 14th through the 16th. They're going to present a one-act play, and they're preparing for that right now. And before they go, like a week before, they're gonna present it to the community at the auditorium. I've asked them, because I've done this in the past too, a one-act play is short. It's about 30 minutes long, and so people come, even if it's $2 tickets, that's it, and they're wanting more. So I told them, I said, try to do some other side things, you know, some monologues or something to entertain even longer. So we'll see what they put together for that night. Do you have anything to add for FFA for us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. For that.
We're building projects. We're gonna take a few of the seniors to National FFA Convention here in about a week and a half. I believe there's more action on that further down the agenda. Polling said that we could use one of their planes, so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Trying to think what else we're doing. Trying to raise money so we can spend that money in the spring. I probably, oh gosh, we probably spent at least $4 or $5 grand just paying for diesel and drivers last spring. So last year we spent about $13,000. So we're just trying to, replenish that and make sure that we have enough money to, make sure those kids have a good time, make sure we have some good learning experiences. We're starting to train up a couple teams, trying to get them, on that stage in Las Cruces in April. So with that said, that's about it.
That's all I have. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
I just wanna say, I'm very proud of you guys. You all are, you're awesome, so I think you continue to, I think that you're doing a great job. There's just some new stuff going on and I love it. I love all the s'mores, the
Newsletters.
little newsletters, yeah, that you send out and, in the text messages through Facebook, through, oh, God, I love that. So, that's awesome. Anything for?
And one more thing, Madam President.
Yes.
Just like promised last board meeting, here's a letter, letting you guys know that my intentions are to retire at the end of the year. So there's my official letter of retirement. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay. Moving to board communications. Caught me off guard. It's like- Bank of Clayton, you're up.
Madam President, members of the board, commissioners, thank you for inviting us here tonight. I'm David Craig with the Bank of Clayton, the Division of Bank of Clovis. And we want to visit with you about the opportunity to help you with your banking needs in Clayton, New Mexico, and working with the schools also. With me tonight are Randy Harris, our CEO, and Dr. Stephen Haynes, our member of our board. And then we'd all like to visit with you just a little bit. We take some of your time and talk to you about the Bank of Clayton, Bank of Clovis, and what we believe in, where we are and what we'd like to propose. So, I'd like to.
Thanks, Dave. Well, again, President, Board, and Administration, and Ag teacher. And the person who makes everything happen.
Thank you.
And Zach, you're over there, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but anyway, thank y'all for giving us the time to visit today. Okay, we had the opportunity about 2 or 3 weeks ago to come up and visit with the superintendent and Zach and share a little bit about our bank. And so, Ray, first of all, congratulations on your retirement. Maybe it's condolences, I don't know.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations, how many years?
I think this will be my 28th.
Congratulations to you, I know you'll be missed by this group, and it looks like you have a great team.
They're awesome.
And for you, Madam President, to recognize all the great things, and Coach Bobby, for you to recognize those students who took all that guff from the other teams and that you're proud of them, that speaks volumes, it really does. So I'm here today to just visit with you about who I am and who the Bank of Clovis is and what the Bank of Clayton is going to be, okay? It's already started off great because it has great leadership with David and with Michelle and Dawson and Karina and Athena. Those are all great seasoned bankers that know what they're doing, but more importantly, they care about this community, okay? And that's why we're a part of their team, they're a part of our team. The Bank of Clovis, so we just get a little history, and I won't go into great detail, but I started at Clovis National Bank, which was a small community bank, okay? And that small community bank then decided to join forces with 10 other banks throughout the state, and then years later, we decided to change our name to what was called SunWest. SunWest became the largest bank holding company in the state of New Mexico, and I had the opportunity to be the president and CEO of Clovis. And then SunWest got a wild hair, if you will, and they bought a bank in El Paso because they wanted to do all this stuff that all these other big banks were doing. That didn't work out so well. The next thing you know, SunWest, okay, is selling to a company called Boatman's out of Missouri, all right? And I've been involved in those negotiations as a president in Clovis. Because the holding company invited me in to participate in those. I didn't like any part of that. Boatman's was a great bank. They were from Missouri, they were not from eastern New Mexico. That simple. Bowman's then was just positioning to sell to Nations Bank. Guess what Nations Bank was doing? Positioning to merge with Bank of America. So I worked from 1979 to 1999 almost, 1999 for all those banks. I never left my office or the building in which I started. But I saw all the different ways that banks operated. And for years, my customers that I bank, even customers here in Clayton, said, why don't you start your own bank? Why don't you start your own bank? I couldn't do that because I worked for them. And as long as I worked for them, that's who I was loyal to, okay? But then one day they said, we don't need you anymore, Randy, okay? That was my opportunity, the best thing that ever happened to me. And so what did we do? In Clovis, New Mexico, we went and met with guys like Dr. Stephen Haynes, Butch Wilson, who went to Clovis High School, who's in the construction business. He's built several buildings in this community, as a matter of fact. I think he's helped build the hospital years and years ago under Newton Butch, his father. Ribble Holloman, whose family was from Melrose, New Mexico. Also Dr. Jake Mobley, who was a dentist from Melrose, New Mexico. And we said, let's start the Bank of Clovis. How are we gonna do that? Because all of us combined, we had a certain amount of resources, but not enough to start a bank. We knew how to run a bank, but we didn't know about owning a bank. So we went to our community and we asked teachers, we asked plumbers, we asked bricklayers, we asked doctors, we asked lawyers, we asked ranchers, we asked farmers to buy stock in the Bank of Clovis on the faith of our history and our reputation that we would build a community bank that was designed to meet the needs of that community and the surrounding area. It was not built, okay, to build a big bank and get bigger and sell. Because we had plenty of that, and I had plenty of that, okay? So our goal, 200 people bought stock in the Bank of Clovis, and they still own stock in the Bank of Clovis today. Some of those are people right here from Clayton, New Mexico, who were my customers 20 plus years ago, okay? And so those people saw a need way back then, and we felt there was a need. And so for years, we've been talking about expanding in New Mexico. And over almost 2 years ago now, David, we made an offer to New Mexico Bank and Trust that we wanted to buy all eastern New Mexico. We didn't have a need to be in Albuquerque. We didn't have a need to be in other parts of the state. We felt it was important to bank with people like us in Clovis, New Mexico. And the east side of the state seemed to fit that bill. And so New Mexico Bank and Trust said, don't come back a year from now. So we're getting ready to go back to talk to them again, and we find out that David and Dawson are available, okay? And we're talking to them the next day. And David comes to Clovis, and Dawson comes to Clovis, and we visit about the opportunity to have a Bank of Clayton, which is a division of the Bank of Clovis, okay, that does the same thing in Clayton, New Mexico that we do in Clovis, New Mexico, which is meet the needs of the community. And within just a few months, February 16th roughly, we opened the Bank of Clayton. We also opened the Bank of Logan at the same time. And we were able to do that because Garrett Baker, who was working for New Mexico Bank and Trust, I like to say he saw the light, but he decided to come to work with us. And we had the day we left here, we stopped in Logan and met with Plateau, who had bought the old FNB Bank in Logan. And we made a deal that day. We shook hands. And today, the Bank of Logan, a division of the Bank of Clovis, is up and operating and doing really well. And since then, okay, this all happened just since Thanksgiving last year, I guess. So since then, we've made an application, and on the 29th of this month, we will open the Bank of Des Moines. It's a small building. Cross First was there. The village bought it. We're gonna use part of it, they use part of it. We're only gonna be open 2 days a week because that's what we see the need being today, okay? But that may change. But the community, just like Clayton, will have to guide us as to which way we go. We're making an investment in communities, and those communities have got to invest in us too. Okay? It's that simple. So we also have been approved. We had a discussion today at our board meeting, didn't we, Stephen? We had a discussion today. Today is our 24th year anniversary. Today, this exact day, when we started the Bank of Clovis. We want to open Tucumcari on November 15th. There's some argument whether we make that happen or not, but I think it can happen. So my point to you is we made an offer to buy into the markets, but that didn't happen. But then this opportunity presented itself, and we moved forward, and we moved forward quickly. So that's how we got to where we are today. Now I need to talk to you a little bit about who we are, and all the things that I heard about community partners and community programs and community school. We believed in that from the very first day that we started in banking. We have been partners with the school programs for ever and ever since I've been in banking. We've done all kinds of different programs, and I'll just share a few of those programs with you. One of the things that I really like to do is I like to do scoreboards. You will not find a billboard in Clovis, New Mexico that has the Bank of Clovis on it. You will find scoreboards at Little League fields, at baseball fields, at football fields, at basketball gyms, because I believe we're helping the schools. At the same time, the school is helping us because people recognize we support the school. Okay? It's that simple. And I really, really like doing that. And so we've already done it for you guys. It doesn't matter whether you choose to bank with us or not. I want you to clearly understand that we made a conscious decision based upon who we are. And those scoreboards are coming. I think they're gonna be here the 28th, something like that. But not just here, but in Logan, okay, in Tucumcari. We haven't even opened in Tucumcari yet. And I tell you that not to brag, but to tell you that's how we believe. We think that's important. We've done a lot of programs with the FFA over the years because we believe in the FFA and what it stands for. We believe that it's a great program. And so we've been participants in all of those programs. Athletics, we're a huge sponsor of athletics in our community. We will give more money in Clovis, New Mexico. We will give more help and money in Clayton, New Mexico than our other banks in the community combined. I guarantee it. I have no reservations telling you that because I know what our history is. I know what we've done. Another program that we do that I'm really proud of, we have a program we've been doing it now for 38 years. 38, 39 years, a long time. The bank's only 24 years old, but we started it back in my prior bank. And that program is an intern program where we bring the seniors in, and all the seniors can apply with the guidance counselor or the principal, and they can apply to go to work at the bank. Just like we'll do the same thing for the Bank of Clayton. And we'll pick maybe 1 or 2 or 3, and they'll come and work, and we work with their schedules, because some go to school different hours than others, and we work with their schedule. And if you were to walk in the Bank of Clovis today, you will see some of the youngest people in any bank anywhere in the country, okay? Because we believe in helping them learn to be a professional, to be able to have a good work ethic, and we believe that it will help them when they go to college to get another job, or when they go somewhere else to help them learn good work skills. And we don't give them, go shred this paper job. We give them a job of cash and checks and depositing money. Yeah, we oversee them and we watch them, but you would be amazed how many 18-year-olds, boom, they got it, and they're very, very good at what they do, okay? And so we want to do that in all the communities that we're located in, and that's just a small example. We've done reading programs where we go and we sign a contract with 5th graders. If you read this many books, we'll give you a Susan B. Anthony Gold Medal, okay? You'd be amazed how many kids would read those books. Just little things that we believe make a difference in our community. And we truly do believe when I say this, and this is not hype or anything, this is what we believe. If we invest in our communities will be better. If we invest in Clayton, we need you to invest in us. Because that's how this all works. It's that simple. We don't pay the highest rates for deposits. We don't charge the highest rate for loans. Our money comes from the depositors of our community. The Bank of Clovis is not here in Clayton, New Mexico, have no business being here if we didn't have David and all of his team. If we don't have people from this community, we don't need to be in this community. It's that simple. And David's job, David's goal, is to build the bank and build future bankers from this community. And the one way he does that is with interns. Well, what's so important to me that you understand about our bank is that when we invest in you, you invest in us. We don't come here and grab those deposits and go loan the money in Clovis, New Mexico. That's not what we do. David gathers deposits, and he makes loans in Clayton. Garrett's gathers deposits in Logan, and he makes loans in Logan. And that is critical, fundamental. Dr. Haynes, one of our founding directors with us, can testify the fact that's been our principle from day one, is if your community wants you, they'll invest in you. And in return, we're gonna do the same thing. It's that simple. It's a partnership, it has been from day one for the Bank of Clovis, and I couldn't be more proud of David and his team, what they did. We have this tiny little building down there, okay? If you'd have seen it the day that we lease purchased it, you would just, what are you guys doing? It was a dump. Their whole team, they got it down there, they got brooms, they got mops, they cleaned it up, they shined it up. If you've not been in there, I invite you to come in there. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful, one of our directors, Butch Wilson, said, why did we buy CMS Electric for? Why are we gonna make a bigger building? What we got is beautiful. Well, it doesn't have a drive-up, doesn't have a drive-up night drop, doesn't have an ATM. And Monday morning, you'll see some guys showing up, starting to work on that building. Because we finally got all your regulations that you talked about in the fire marshal. We finally got a permit after 60 days. We can drive for 60 days. We finally got a permit. So now you're gonna see guys show up Monday that will begin to work on the inside structure. And that building's gonna be beautiful, it's gonna be really nice. And when you walk in the front door, it's all gonna be open. Over here will be offices, and over here will be offices, and they'll all be glass. There's no doors on the offices, by the way. We don't believe in doors. We don't need doors. Now you gotta have private meetings, you gotta have special deals, I understand all that. But us, it's open door policy. It's all glass, and when you walk through the front door, there's offices on the right, offices on the left, and right in the middle in front of you is the telephone, okay? It'll be very simple, but it'll be very nice. And it's a commitment we're making to this community, not to get you to bank with us. We want you to bank with us. We think you need to bank with us, because we have great talented people, we have great services, and we have a commitment to doing the job right. And so, nobody else can match us. The other banks that you have in town, they can't match us, because we got these people that care, okay? And so, a lot of people say, well, it's so hard to change, it's so hard to move. Well, it is, but that's why we have good people. Just think about it, when the Bank of Clovis started, we had 6 other banks in Clovis, okay? The only way we got accounts is if somebody moved from another bank to us. Today, we're a $390 million bank. We're not the biggest in Clovis, we're the second biggest, okay? But we're not growing to be the biggest. We're growing in communities that are solid support communities. Some people say, well, why are you looking at Clayton? Why are you looking at Logan? Those smaller communities. They're communities like Clovis. We're not growing leaps and bounds in Clovis, New Mexico, okay? We're just a good, solid community, just like Clayton is, just like Logan is, just like Tucumcari is, and just like Des Moines is. And they have a need, and we believe we can provide for those needs, and we can do it where we invest in the communities, and we can do it to where it's profitable. We're not doing this to not make money. I mean, that's back to why, okay? But we will make money if we're able to invest in the community and invest in us. That's our story, that's who we are. It's not soap and mirrors and all that stuff, it's just real. And we're here to answer any questions that you guys have in regard to the Bank of Clovis, the Bank of Clayton. I will tell you, the regulators require us to make it the Bank of Clayton a division of the Clayton. Because we can't say that you got $250,000 insurance in Clayton, and then you walk into Clovis and you got $250,000 insurance. As if you're not smart enough to figure that out on your own. So we have to say Bank of Clayton, a division of the Bank of Clovis, okay? That's why it's that way. All right, make sense? So with that, I'll just, Dr. Haynes, a founding member of our board of directors. Anything you'd like to say, Dr. Haynes?
I know you all have a good meeting in just a few words. As you heard, 24 years ago we started today. Roughly a year before that, we started the planning process, the meetings, and then we started the lovely journey through the bureaucracy, paperwork, and government entities. We were able to get done what we wanted, and we promised, as you heard, people in the community, this is a community bank. We're not going anywhere in the sense that we're not here to sell. We gave our word. One of you knows me as a surgeon. talk to your patients and say, I'm gonna take care of you, I give you, promise you, I give you my word. It's the way it was raised. And as we grew and we started looking around and we started hearing things, we thought, these communities need help. Communities have to have a school, they have to have a bank. A lot of them have to have the hospital. Without it, you're nothing. You're gonna be a ghost town. We can step in and help. We are not gonna sell, we promise you that. That's our word, you have to understand, that's the way we do our business. Handshakes. We started the bank on handshakes. We didn't have a huge contract that each founding member signed or anything like that. This is the way we do it. This is what we enjoy doing. What you heard, we don't find expert bankers and import them into a small community. They don't know the community. Those people know you all. We don't know Clayton as well as they do. We're learning as the transactions come in. You see the deposits, you see the loans and things like this. But he knows people better. Garrett knows the people in Tucumcari and Logan and things. We are local, we're gonna stay local. Third, we had to call the other bank, Clayton, oriented division. You didn't like it, but you can't win a battle with bureaucracy. And I said, thank you for the opportunity to visit with you.
Thank you.
I'd like to say one thing. When I left the bank I was at, I looked at several banks reached out to me. I could have got a pickup, made loans, got deposits for Dalhart, Texas, Dunes, Texas, Raton, Mexico. I could have taken deposits and loans to Oklahoma, Texas, up and farther down in Mexico. None of those banks that I visited with truly wanted to be in Mexico. They all said, well, you know, if you can get us this many loans and this many deposits, maybe we'll take a credit up the road, and then maybe we'll look at down the road a couple of years with them. That wouldn't really work. I'm a member of this community. I've lived in this area all my life. The people that I work with live in this community most of the time. We made a team commitment, and I reached out to Randy. I was checking with other banks, and visited with Randy, his president, Chris Thomas, and also Dr. Haynes and several other board members. They wanted to be in Clayton. They don't just want the school deposits. They want to be in Clayton, Mexico. They want to be part of the community, and that's why we're here. I'm fortunate to be with him. It's the best thing. Sometimes when blessings come in the same packages, it was a huge blessing to me and the other members of our team. I guarantee you walk into our office, any one of you, and some of you have, that it's very open, it's very friendly. I mean, I got the friendly staff in the whole town. I guarantee you that if somebody's not giggling or laughing in there, and somebody didn't, at least two people didn't greet you when you walk in the door, something's wrong. And, you know, the reason we're building a bigger office is because we need more room, because we're gonna hire more people. We're gonna grow in the community, and we're gonna help the community grow. The school's gonna grow with us, the community's gonna grow with us. It's gonna be for all of us. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Well, and I think we've talked about that before, about doing business with the Bank of Clayton, because of course, we love the name. Bank of Clayton.
That's why they chose it.
That's right.
They wanted to be the Bank of Clayton.
Right, right. And we have discussed that, and what you know, so look for us. And I have to ask Mr. Harris, your dad, Robert Harris?
My dad was Robert Harris, but not the Robert Harris of EMR.
Oh, okay.
So Robert Harris of EMR had a son named Randall Harris.
Yes.
Randall Harris became the VA.
Yes.
My dad's name was Robert Harris, but he worked for K1X as a rock crusher guy.
Okay.
And I never thought I'd get in Dayton, but I wound up in Dayton. Now Randall Harris had the ability to make the news from and he was a flamboyant kind of guy. And one morning at breakfast, I was in a restaurant that I was in, and I put my hand on his shoulder, and I said, Randy. He went by Randy, but I knew his name was Randy. I said, well, Randy, and this day could have made front page news, was on the shoulder bone. Look at that. From this point forward, you take better care of our name. It was just odd. It was just odd.
Good advice.
We'll answer any questions you have. We don't have any, we're an open book.
Gosh, I love your story.
Yeah, me too.
I just really do. That's just a really good, like, hometown, just feel-good story too. I like that. And I like the whole not selling, because that, nothing is more irritating, or a little more, you don't feel very secure when you hear that it's happening to your bank.
So most community banks are owned by a family member or two. And as they get older, someone inherits the bank. And in a lot of cases, the children or the grandchildren, they don't want to be bankers. And so what happens? The bank sells. It's a natural thing. It's nothing wrong, nothing bad. It's just the reality of life. What makes us different, we have 200 people that have a commitment for service in the community. We have a succession plan, not only for management and the board, but for a long-term plan for the future of the bank, okay? And I'm very, very proud of that. That's why we hire so many younger people to cultivate to become bankers, because we think that's absolutely critical. But over the next several years, and when I say several years, I see our management team, our board team, 20, 30 years down the road. That's a big deal. Most community banks don't have it. And the last thing that I'll say is, we're a community bank. A lot of community banks, because of their nature, not a lot, but because of their nature, they don't have a few principles. They don't want to share my principles and our bank's principles. Your information is your information. And every employee that we hire, I tell them the same thing. We heard the same story. Confidentiality. You don't share one bit of information about anybody's stuff, period. That is reason to be fired, period. Nobody business, but your business about your finances. Number 2, don't lie. Number 3, don't cheat. Number 4, don't steal. And the biggest and the best one of all of it, so that our whole life is treat people the way you want to be treated. That's the way we do it. And we don't always succeed every day. We try every day because people know that's who we are. And when you look at community banks, a lot of people say, well, they might not have this service, or they might not have this ability. I will match any service against any big bank with ours. Whether it be internet, whether it be online, whether it be accounts, ACH, whether it be wire, whatever it might be, I will match ours to anyone. Because we have top-notch professionals. A lot of people think when you're in a small community like Clovis, like Clayton, that you don't have very professional people. Well, they don't know. You look around this room and you look at each other, you have a very talented team of people. When I went to your hospital, I met a talented group of people here, okay? My point is that just because we're not big, doesn't mean we're not great. Doesn't mean we're not good. That's how we believe, and if you bank with us, you will. Well, I'll buy you a steak if that's not true. We can match any, we can match Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whoever. We can match any of those guys. Toe for toe. You know what the difference is?
And when you call our bank, you won't get an answer machine.
They don't have one.
And if you don't get it answered pretty quick, rings my cell phone. So you get it first.
Great. Thank you all so much.
Thank you guys.
Okay, thank y'all.
For being here.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, well, don't hesitate to ask me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Safe travel.
Bye.
Thank you. Here again.
Thank you.
You said, safe travel.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good to see that big smile on that face.
We go there today. I look forward to meeting you.
Okay, that was awesome. And I really do want to look at that, because, item B under board communications is the climate survey. We did find out a little bit of information on that, because our attorneys do not, even though they said that, I think maybe I misunderstood them. They had said that they could help us with the climate survey, but their guidance isn't in developing the
So-
climate survey.
So you probably talked to Paul Benoit. So
CES.
I was talking to him the day after.
Uh-huh.
He says for you guys to reach out to David Chavez.
Yes,
That's what he does.
I got his email, his phone number, all of that. So we'll email him, have it done the right way. Right, we'll get that taken care of. Anything else on that? What we found out? I don't think so. Okay. So we will be looking at that. And then we were thinking maybe, putting it somewhere to where, for years to come, it can happen twice a year. A climate survey, a morale survey, or a morale survey, a climate survey, they're kind of the same thing, but every year, one in the fall, one in the spring. So it's not just why are you having that done now? We just make sure we have that done. Because many districts do that.
And I like to see, I don't know how you've done it in the past, but I like to see that it's done like 3 ways with students, staff, and parents. Like, so that you can get a feel of all involved. And that's
Yeah.
the way we've done it in the past. We have all
Okay.
3, and we can measure those.
Well, and
progress.
that's great to have y'all's input as well. I mean, and how it's developed. So, not as and two, it was part of our, when we were meeting in our, about the strategic plan, there was that community input and stuff, and I can go to that in a minute, so. All right, and so I'll reach out to him and have more information for you all for the next board meeting. I do want to say thank you, Mr. John Drighill, for our pretty little gift. So, we don't receive very many gifts as board members at all. It's just, you don't have the right hours. You need to go to Albuquerque to do this, but by the way, you're not gonna get paid. We don't do it to get paid, but, it's kind of a thankless job, so thank you very much, I appreciate it. Moving to financial matters, consideration and approval of financial reports. Can you hear me okay, Zach? I think he's frozen.
He's frozen again. Give him a second. He said the Wi-Fi there is not great.
Okay.
There he's coming back, I think.
I'll turn his camera on, and it'll work better.
Yeah.
You just don't wanna look at him, or what?
No, it works better without the camera than.
Oh, okay.
I can't, this is the first time I get to see him eye to eye. This is so tall. Grasshopper. Here he is. Oh, for a second.
Maybe it's not, maybe it's true.
I'm asking if he wants to call on the phone.
That would work. See you out, Albuquerque.
No, he's calling me here.
Call on either.
Hey.
It keeps kicking me out.
Okay, I got you on speaker. I'm gonna put my phone up here by Mrs. Leal.
Okay.
Hi, Zach.
Hi, everyone, how y'all doing?
Great, great. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, so we are on consideration and approval of financial reports, Zach.
Okay, awesome. I'll try to talk loud so everyone can hear me. I'm sorry I'm not there.
That's okay.
So, just a little update on what I've been doing. I just got my CPO certification last week. Thought
Yay!
we'd relieve some of the stress off Cassie, but I wanna leave her on there just in case.
Good job.
And then, I'm at the Nashville conference right now, and I believe tomorrow I will have enough credits to get my school
Madam President, I move that we approve the financial report.
Sorry. It's been moved and seconded to approve the financial report. Any discussion? All
Can I
those,
say one?
sure.
So I just had a quick question about, me and Cassie and I were looking at our board policy on like purchasing and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering where in there I could find where it says like what you guys want for the purchasing, like limits and all that stuff. Cause I looked everywhere and I could not find it.
The purchasing limits of what? Like,
Like where, how many, like is it 5,000? I heard that it was 5,000. Anything above 5,000, we had to get 3 quotes. But I can't find that anywhere in the policy.
do you know who I think knows that very well is Tim? I think
Okay.
we've discussed that before. I don't think that would be in policy because I think that's not really like a school board policy. I think that is like
Procedure?
it's not procurement.
No,
That's what we
procurement,
With procurement, it doesn't have those limits.
the procurement limits are a lot higher, and that's why Zach brought up the question, because we've always been told at $5,000 you need at least 3 quotes, and so we just always make people get 3 quotes. But it's not in our board policy, so is it a guideline that we've just always
You
followed?
looked under that fiscal folder in the board policy? Or the,
I couldn't find it.
Could it possibly be like a state statute? Because I just,
Mm-mm.
I've been at state, every district I've been at, that is what they've said.
5,000, it has to be
State
state
statute?
statute.
Did you hear that?
No, I just did the class and they're saying it's up to 20,000, you can issue a direct purchase order, and then 20 to 60,000 is where you need to 3 quotes.
Well, there
And-
you go.
So
And also,
that's for state.
and schools are allowed to make their policy more strict than the regulation, but we're just trying to find where is it written for Clayton Municipal Schools.
Because the auditors are gonna check our internal controls to see if we're in compliance with internal controls and procurement. So I'm just trying to make sure we're all on the same page with what happens with that, so they don't blindside us.
Would Maria know that, or?
No, she knows the state regulations and the procurement, but she doesn't know anything with the school wise.
I think it
Because
would
it's up
be,
to the district.
I think it would be under section D. Was that where you were looking whenever when you were looking under policy?
I don't know, I can look more into it, I could not find it when I was looking at it.
Okay, if it's going to be anywhere, I bet it's under the fiscal folder on, it starts with, it's section D.
Okay,
Starts with fiscal management, all of that.
okay,
I'll look also, okay?
okay.
And, if anybody else wants to look, then we'll try to help you out there, okay?
And then, they were saying that some schools, just talking to a bunch of schools are here, and they were saying that they actually just put in their policy, they follow the procurement code. Just that easy, we do everything that goes by procurement, so we don't have to worry about stepping on anyone's toes in the internal control side. So that could be an option too.
Would it be under? Purchasing procedures. It says purchasing will be, the purchase of tangible goods, services, and construction shall be conducted, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall be conducted in adherence to the stipulations of the New Mexico Procurement Code 13-128 through 13-199 NMSA 1978, for purposes stated therein. The manual procedures, PSAB supplement 13 will be follows, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it doesn't really, the district has a central purchasing office responsible for ensuring fair and equal treatment of all persons, for maximizing the purchasing value of district funds, for providing safeguards, and then it refers to these legal references. I'm not seeing any.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything, so I was just wondering if the 5,000 was a myth, or I don't know where that started, but I can't find it anywhere.
That's what
I
I was,
don't
when I
remember
first
hearing
started
that
here,
though.
when I first started here, that's what the business managers just what, that's what
Right,
they gave me the guidance on that, so I've always
but that
followed
could have
that.
been something that wasn't really even in policy. I would say, ask Tim Callis, because I know he has, there's been those conversations before. I mean,
Okay.
I think he may know.
I asked him, and he said that that's what he's been told too.
Okay. Oh, so you already been there. Well, and if they're telling you this, Zach, if it's something that we have to put, we can amend policies, that's part of our job. So if there's something that you see that we don't have, that we need to include into like, D 2550 and 2750,
Okay.
the purchasing, I mean, a lot of this is just like about contracts and stuff like that, but, maybe even starting back at 2450, but you could, I mean, if there's something that we need to add, please let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, appreciate that.
Probably was called different things by different superintendents.
Well, yeah, I think it was all a matter of whose hands it went
I've
through.
always heard that, so I don't know. And I've been in lots of different districts, and they've always said if it's more than 5,000, you have to have 3 quotes.
I had to do it for $1,000 one time.
Unless it was,
Here?
through CES, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to, if it's through CES, you don't have to have.
Right.
it, but you have to, if they're CES, then, okay.
We'll look into it.
Okay. Okay, and so I need, any more discussion? All those in favor of approving the financial reports, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, financial reports have been approved, and there are no bars and transfers. Any questions for Zach? All right.
Thanks,
Sorry to
Zach.
keep you waiting, Zach. Thank you so much. I'm gonna give Cassie the phone back. Be safe there.
Thank you, guys. Yes, ma'am.
I like your hat.
They
Okay.
said nobody likes your hat, that's what they said. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Moving to action item A, consideration approval of the school's 90-day plan.
Madam President, members of the board, I think you have them there in your board. We had some technical difficulties with high school one, but we finally got it taken care of, so my recommendation is to approve the 90-day plans for all things, 4 schools.
Madam President, I move that we approve the school's 90-day plans.
I'll second.
Sorry. It's been moved and seconded. To approve the school's 90-day plans. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 90-day plans have been approved.
You put something in
All right. Consideration approval of the 2024 strategic plan. There was a part in there where it was like community, the needs assessment, all of that. I don't know if that was on the timeline, right? But I was just talking back about
Oh, yeah, I was on the timeline, yeah.
about the survey. There is a place to weave that into our strategic plan.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be the year 1, conduct needs assessments and stakeholder surveys. Sorry.
Madam President, I move to approve our 2024 strategic plan.
Second.
seconded to approve our 2024 strategic plan. Any discussion? Sorry. All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed? The 2024 strategic plan has been approved, and that's good for 5 years, right?
Yes.
Real quick, Madam President, I did find, something on the, PED site, it says single purchases between 5,000 and 20,000 have 3 telephone quotes. Single purchases between 5,000, and 20,000 have 3 written quotes. This is on their PED website.
Great.
Did you sell the light?
So
it's on
PED
a
limits us,
Manual of procedures, for purchasing.
Great.
so PED limits us to that.
Is there any way we can find that and just send that to Zach, so at least he has something, we can email it to him?
But our policy doesn't even say to follow the PED, it says to follow
They,
the, sorry.
they supersede in most cases.
But yeah,
But I don't know if that has to do with
Is it
the
because-
finance authority or what?
the finance authority, because it covers everything, whether it's school or business or whatever, so, okay. Well, I mean, at least now we know where it's.
I thought it was across the state.
And it doesn't hurt to question it either.
No.
It's okay to do that. Okay, great, thank you for that. Item C, consideration approval of out-of-state travel donation of travel expenses. This is for the FFA, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. As I previously stated, polling said that we could, use their plane and their pilot to travel to Indianapolis for National FFA Convention. Per Mr. Masters, correct me if I'm incorrect, but the liability waiver would be the same as for a commercial flight.
Yes.
So,
And what about the fuel? Are they including that?
yes, ma'am. So,
The only-
school
the only-
would pay for lodging and transportation once we do get to
Once
Indianapolis.
you get there.
So,
Okay.
They won't be competing, they're just reserving?
yes, ma'am. So, Craig Reese is getting an award, and I feel like somebody from Clayton America is getting an award on that stage with 100,000 people watching. His hometown should show up to see that.
Very
Very good idea, thank you.
awesome.
Madam President, I move that we approve the out-of-state travel and donation of travel expenses for the FFA. Second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the out-of-state travel and donation of travel expenses for the FFA. Any discussion? What an opportunity, that's great.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Out-of-state travel and donation of travel expenses for FFA has been approved. Okay. Items suggested for future meetings?
Do we need to look at those?
Banking,
and maybe thing somewhere in our policy that says that we follow that,
Site safety
Procurement
plans.
procedure.
limitations on purchases. What?
Site safety plans.
Site.
Maybe approving a climate survey or talking about getting that done.
Okay.
Someone's gonna have to help me get one.
And by all means, still send any thoughts of anything you want to bring up. And hopefully, in the last 2 times, Ray and I have been like, you've been traveling, it's been all, I mean, you look at the agenda, but you can phone call, so hopefully we can have to sit down and do that. So, okay, very good. Item 11, executive session pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 1215H2 pertaining to limited personnel matters, staff member resignation. I do need a roll call vote, a motion and a roll call.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session. Roll call vote.